So I've been trying to find out or figure out the best way to rack for 8-ball. And by best way, I mean a way that gives the most even distribution of solids and stripes. So there's no potential advantage for anybody. According to APA, the only rule is the 8-ball has to be in the middle. According to BCA, 8-ball in the middle and the corners have to be different. One has to be a solid and one has to be a stripe. I see people do this a lot. Solid stripe all the way around the outside. Which I don't really like, partly because of the BCA rule, which I agree with. And not only are these the same, but then these two are the same. And intuitively, it seems like these are going to get a lot of movement, these are going to get a lot of movement. And I guess that's why the BCA has that rule, as we all tend to agree the corners are going to get a lot of movement. They're going to move farther away from the break, and there's a good chance of making them, or at least a better chance than making other ones. And so having them both be the same gives the person breaking a possible advantage. They might make 2 solids in this case. Or even if they don't, they'll have solids more spread out. It seems more fair to do that, to minimize potential advantage for one person or the other. But why give the corners special attention? I would argue that these are going to get more movement than, say, these, because these have to push into those. So what about these? Let's make those different. And of course the one in the back doesn't have a corresponding ball. So it's not going to make any difference in terms of distribution. Same thing with the one in front. One of those is going to have to be solid and one stripe the way I'm going to do it, and it doesn't really matter which way. Again, these two, it seems like they're going to get some movement, so they should be different. One solid, one stripe. And we might as well keep that going and do that for every single corresponding positions. These, one solid, one stripe, in the middle, one solid, one stripe, and here. But if you just say one solid and one stripe in each corresponding position, then you could end up with something like that. Each corresponding pair is different. And that doesn't seem good either, because now someone might be able to break from one side or the other and get an advantage. Maybe from breaking over here, they'll have the stripes spread out more. So to avoid that, I don't only want opposites in each corresponding pair, I also want to evenly distribute solids and stripes on the left and the right. So there's 6 balls on the right, 6 on the left. I want 3 solids and 3 stripes on each one. So one way to do that is like this. So 3 stripes, 3 solids, 3 stripes, 3 solids. That's not the only way to do it. There's in fact 20 ways to do it. 10 if you consider that you could just flip every single position around, and that's not really different, it's just a reflection. So in a sense there's 10 different ways to rack with those rules, those criteria, that the ones on the right have to have 3 solids, 3 stripes, the ones on the left have to have 3 solids, 3 stripes, and each corresponding pair is different. So I'm going to show the 10 different ways that you can rack like that, and explain why I sort of like some and not others, although at this point it's more of an intuition argument than anything else. And again, the one in the front and the back don't really matter. I always put one up front and a stripe in the back. So here are the 10 different ways to rack based on the criteria that I suggested. And again, the criteria are that the 8-ball must be in the middle, of course, and then each corresponding pair on the left and the right must be different, so 1 solid, 1 stripe. And then with the 6 balls on the right, we got to have 3 solids and 3 stripes, same with the 6 on the left. And so you get these 10 different ways, and again, really there's 20, because you could take each of these 10 and just flip the solids and the stripes, but then those aren't really different. They're just reflections. So there's really 10 unique ways to do it. And you might notice over here, for example, on number 5, that you have these 3 solids on the edge, 3 stripes over here. And similarly with number 10, you got 3 stripes on the edge down here, 3 solids over here. So I don't rack like that. I don't know if really it makes a difference, but intuitively it seems like you're going to get solids grouped somewhere and stripes grouped somewhere, or at least you're more likely to, I guess. So I don't use these. And then here again, these 2 stripes together are going to go, more or less in the same direction. These solids more or less in the same direction. And then you've got these 3 stripes grouped together, 3 solids grouped together. May not matter, but intuitively it just seems like it might be better to mix these up and to alternate these. So I avoid those. I avoid the groupings here, here. And I prefer number 1. And number 6, I don't know. I can't really give a good argument against it. It seems pretty good. But generally I just go with number 1, and I put the 1 ball up front and the other stripe in the back. And I'd be very interested to hear people's opinions. Do you think these criteria are even any good at all? And if not, what do you do? And if you like these criteria, then which of these 10 do you like or not like, and why? So hopefully I'll get some interesting and constructive comments.